Being a successful product manager requires you to take responsibility not only for the product you work on, but also for your own professional growth. Today, product management is quickly becoming one of the top and most lucrative roles in tech, and more product enthusiasts are eager to share knowledge and expertise with one another. It may be the golden age of product management. Hello, Liggers, and welcome to today's Ask Me Anything, the place where talented and curious product managers like you get to ask us anything. So this may be the golden age of product management. However, product management is difficult. This field is both deep and broad, and regardless of how experienced you are, there is always, and I mean always, something new to learn, and if you don't actively improve, you're falling behind. Because of that, this session will be an amazing session, a session that is useful for PMs of all levels. And today's session is all about keeping growing as a product manager. By the way, it's great meeting you. My name is Moriakasis, and I'm the founder and general manager of Product League. And what we do is helping you to become the best product manager you can be. Product League is an international mentoring program for product managers by product managers. So please go ahead and type your name and where you're from in the comments, because we want to get to know you. And now we've got 3 talented, dedicated, and experienced Product League mentors to answer all your questions about the why and the how of keeping growing as a product manager. Guys, let's meet our panelists. I am super excited about this opportunity. Joining us live from Berlin, let's welcome Svitlana Khimka, VP of Product at Latana and Product League mentor. Svitlana built her career in the international environment, working at big corporations like Yandex and Expel Springer and fast-growing startups like Latana. On her path to a product leadership role where she is now, she learned how to excel the difficult transition from an individual contributor to a highly valued leader in a company, but also how to navigate the multicultural environment and what internal barriers stop us from advancing our career. And she is happy to share her experience and learning with us today. What's up, Svitlana?
Hi. It's really nice to be here.
Super excited to have you here with us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And actually, everything that we mentioned now as for your bio has a lot to do with our path of becoming better product managers and growing within our career, because there are so many challenges, transitioning from a corporate or startup to, or vice versa, and working in one company or one country or another. So excited to hear about your experience and what you have to share with our audience today. Thank you for joining us. This is great. And now, joining us live from Tel Aviv, let's welcome Lior Snider to the stage, product manager at Anxious and Product League mentor. Lior is a product professional with 11 years of vast proven experience in leading and managing complex multi-platform software products while achieving an impact on revenue growth while using agile methodologies. He believes you can learn from everything and everyone. Just implement the lessons. And we are all about the lessons here today, Lior. And he's a proud husband and father of 4, and one of our panelists today, which we are very excited to have. Lior, what's up?
Hey everyone, excited to be here. It's a privilege and waiting to answer the questions.
That's the spirit. That's the right spirit. Thank you very much, Lior. And last but not least, get ready to learn from Raluca Bujoreanu from Berlin as well. She is a senior product manager at Zalando and Product League mentor, of course. In her role, Raluca is focusing on onboarding new customers into the world of online fashion and creating a delightful first visit and shopping experiences. Her interests and work include digging into customer insights, that's always important, and finding the right solution, envisioning product strategy, and building frameworks that help product teams to be more customer-centric, drive innovation, and get faster from idea to execution. What's up, Raluca?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Maria, for the invitation. I'm really excited to be here and looking forward to the conversation and to all the questions.
Amazing, amazing. I'm looking forward to it myself. And now we will call to the stage the rest of the guys. We have Lior, Svitlana, and Raluca here with us. So how is it going to work? When you guys registered to the event, we gave you the opportunity to ask us anything you want about keeping growing as a product professional. We chose the most frequently asked questions, right? Those that you asked the most, but also the questions that were exciting, interesting, and what we believe may help you to become the best product manager you can be. But we don't stop there, because at the end of the session, we will also have an open Q&A where these three experienced and wonderful product league mentors will answer the questions that you submit in the chat online. So leaguers, with that in mind, you have two call to actions. One, please like this video, share it with your friends, so show us some social media love, right? Show us that you care about what we create for you. And of course, submit your questions in the chat. We always follow the questions and the notes and the feedback that you share there with us, and we actually answer it live. So this is an opportunity that I think you should take in both hands and ask all your questions. Now, guys, what do you say? Are we ready to start with the questions?
Yeah, let's go.
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. Lior, we are starting with you. Adir has a question to you, and he is asking, what can one do to stay up to date with new tools, methodologies, and trends in product management? That's a great question.
It's an amazing question, and actually today I think we're overwhelmed with the data and data sources that we have. And I think my best tip is to just find like up to 3 publishers, blog posts or something, and just continue to follow them. That's what I did. I also joined the product coalition, on Medium, so I get all the data and follow the publishers over there. And I think it's also part of the thing is to be involved with the community. The more I am involved in either it's a dedicated WhatsApp group for product managers that we have in Israel, either in the product league and other product Facebook groups, and you get questions, you can answer, and you see then you can get to know things and learn about what are the trends and the new buzzwords and stuff like that. And the last is be curious. It's always ask questions. Also, always strive to learn more, even if it's not in your straight domain. And you'd be surprised how sometimes stuff that are not related to your day-to-day might assist you and may give you an aha moment that you can implement afterwards at work.
I'm loving it. So we have be picky, be involved, and be curious.
Yeah, exactly. So
loving it. Perfect. Great. And we have another question from Asaf. It goes to you, Raluca, and he is asking, with so much great content out there, how do we stay in content shape? It's actually very much related to what Lior was questioned, but it's from a little different angle, because it's not necessarily about tools or methodologies. It's about the content. Maybe it has to do with the aspiration or as product leaders. Maybe it has to do with other aspects of the job, but how do we stay up to date?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that also Lior mentioned, right? We live in a time where there's an abundance of content everywhere. So I think that there are maybe 2 types of content to watch out for. So one is maybe the content in the industry and of the technology in your field that you always need to stay up to date with. And in that sense, my recommendation would be to identify what are the best sources of information, and just setting up the right notifications, emails, and so on, and just making time to read them and to listen to them. That's also very important. And on the other side, there's also that type of content which helps you to grow knowledge on areas that you actually want to develop. So for example, maybe you want to learn more on product strategy. So it's very important to prioritize what are the skills or the topics that you want to focus on. Then maybe just doing a research of what are the right books, article, courses, and here also the mentor can help you do that if you're part of our program. And then, of course, setting up that study time. It can either be, I don't know, 10 minutes or 30 minutes a day. It really makes a difference.
I love it. And I think that your last 2 points are critical. One, sharing the learning experience with someone else, with a mentor in this case, it's a big deal because it's not only about not doing it yourself, but you also get the opinion of someone else, right, about what is more important to your career building, which is an awesome tip. Really kudos to you. This is wonderful. But it's also about being dedicated to the process and making sure that even if this is just like 10 minutes a day or a week or whatever, but you keep some time for you to grow as a product manager, which is great. Thank you very much, Raluca. Svitlana, maybe you want to add something on this topic?
On this topic, I think like one thing that I did for myself, because like there's always so much content, it's insane, and it's like this form of like a fear of missing out is like so serious. So what I did, I used to set like 1-2 topics per some period. So like, okay, right now I'm really into strategy, and I would force myself to read only articles about strategy. If it's something new about UX or if it's about team management, I would just like close my eyes and say, no, not now, because like content is constantly popping up, and when you need it, it's going to be there. It's internet, everything is there. So that would like really help me a lot to just choose 1 or 2 topics per month or quarter or week, whatever.
It's super interesting that you mentioned it because actually we're now running a poll on our LinkedIn page asking what is the one thing that will help you to best grow as product managers. And one of the options there, 2 of the options there are within the master of all trades, okay, or just a master of one domain. Yeah. We always want to learn about so many domain and aspects of our profession because it's so broad, but at the other time we need to really dive deeper into one subject. So I'm really happy that you mentioned this one. Thank you very much, Svitlana. And we actually stay with you because there is a question to you from Nitzan, and he or she are asking, what are your tips for changing a domain as a product manager? One of the challenges that we face as product managers when we grow is sometimes the transition from one domain to another. So how do we do it the right way?
So I think like the biggest tip I can give here is use like 2-3 months after the change a lot, because that's the period where you can reach out to absolutely anyone from the new industry or like from your new area and just ask, oh, I'm new, I have some questions, and then they're going to be happy to help. And you also have an opportunity to ask stupid questions and have an excuse because you are new. Then when you're 6 months in the role, 8 months, and then you ask someone to tell you about the industry, that already looks strange. So like this first 2-3 months, they are like absolutely the best. And in terms of people, like everyone whom you can reach, like everyone from the organization, ask them to recommend someone else. One thing that I also found quite interesting, usually, especially if it's like new industry, every industry, they have some industry conferences and magazines. And what helps to look, what are the faces, like who are the people who come from one conference to another, from one magazine to another, because those are networkers. Those people whose like main full-time job is just to meet and network with other people. So if you're going to reach out to them and say, oh, hi, I read your article somewhere, I would like to talk. First of all, they would love to meet a new person in the hood, in the industry, because they want to know everyone. And of course, they're going to be really interested to share, and they're going to know everyone. So like basically in those 2-3 months, get everything, get to know everyone, because then afterwards you can reach out to people with some like really concrete questions. But those 2-3 months are the most precious.
I love this one. We don't talk about it enough, right?
Yeah.
I totally agree, Svitlana, that 2-3 months is crucial. I switched, I think, 3 or 4 domains already. And it's the beginning is always the learning curve. I think that one of the things that always helped me is to find this one person within the organization, as you said, which you feel free enough to ask the dumb questions. Also, once you after the 2 and 3 months period. And another great thing that I think that you can do is find someone from the customer success or the sales team, or someone that meets the customers and really lives the domain, and really join forces with him. And that's one of the best tips I can give to if you want to learn and more when you switch domains.
That's a good one. Thank you very much, Svitlana and Lior. Thank you for the added tip. And we are staying with you because Ashley has a question to you. And she is asking, when you join a team as a new product manager, what are the first tasks or actions you recommend her to take?
I think this is one of the golden questions of joining a new team. I think the first thing that I can say, we're product managers, we're opinionated people, but when you join the team, to
say the least.
Yeah, it's like yeah, totally. So my tip is, when you join a new team, tone it down a bit. And use the 2-3 months or the first period to learn, to gather everything, to understand, to learn the politics, to learn the dynamics of the meetings, to learn who is the main stakeholders within the company that you need to connect with, and can assist you in onboarding better. And part of it is to set meetings with those stakeholders for first of all short intros, so they'll get to know you, and then they start learning and be more engaged with them. And the best thing is to say like a follow-up afterwards about setting expectations. What are my expectations from you? What do you expect from me as a product manager working with you, which is really crucial. And also learning. I know about myself, when I start, I'm eager to get hands-on really quick. But you need, as I grew up as a product manager, I know that it's a precious time when you onboard, when you have the time to learn the processes, learn the market, learn the competition, learn what is the sales pitch, who are your customers, who are they, the persona, when you can. What are the workflows with your peers, with the customer success teams, the sales teams, and of course the technology and the R&D, which is our main partners when we develop things. So who are they? What are the struggles? Where are their pains? The tech debt, everything, the technology, the challenges, everything, and just learn for the whole period. That's my biggest tip.
Loving it. Thank you very much. And yes, Raluca, you want to add something?
Yeah, I really like the advice from Lior and getting to know all your stakeholders. I would say that the first month or so is like the best time to just set up meetings with everybody and to just get to know them, to introduce yourself, but to also understand how are they working, what are their challenges, and just maybe trying to figure out how can you support or how can you fit in, and just getting to assess also what's the company culture and how is everybody working and what are the expectations before they're just jumping into everything and just doing the work of the product manager.
Yeah, you probably won't have much of time and opportunity to do it later. Yeah, so I totally agree with you. Svitlana?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on top of this, there were like 2 questions that I was asked once, and I found them the best question a newbie can ask. The first was like when you meet with all your stakeholders or your coworkers, what do you think I need to succeed in this role? People like say such interesting things. And the second one, if like what was like why the previous person has left, like usually if you substitute, or if you entering a new role which was not there before, what was missing without this role. So basically like ask about the past, what was wrong, what was missing, what was kind of not right, because that really shows the dynamic of the team. It shows the needs or like things that are missing in the organization. So I found these questions really interesting.
This is gold. Your tips are golden. Thank you very much, guys. And let's say hello to some of our audience. We have Pamela from London. Hi, Pamela, joining us. Karen from Israel. Hello, hello. And also Ilan from Israel. Chatting with us in the chat. Guys, we are waiting for you in the chat. We submit your questions, say hello, tell us who you are and where you're from, because we want to get to know you better. This is fantastic. Thank you very much. And now we talked about the golden questions, golden answers. Now, one of the biggest and most important questions under this topic of how to grow as product managers, how to keep growing as product managers, with Lior asking you guys, what can we do to advance our careers? This is a big one. And Raluca, we're starting with you.
Yeah, sure. So I think that one of the first thing that maybe everybody should do, no matter if you're in a product management career or something else, is just to think like, what is your long-term and mid-term goal? So what's your vision? Like, where do you want to be in 3, 5, 10 years? And then I think it's very important that whenever you have that this exploration quite clear, whenever you're taking a decision, you're learning a new skill and so on, you can ask yourself whether what you're doing right now is going to help you move forward. It's going to get you further to that goal, and it can just help you with decision making. Are you going to take this position or not? As well as maybe thinking, what can you do on your day-to-day work to help move the needle? And I think like a second maybe tip would be just identify like what's the level that you want to grow as a product manager. So for example, if you're a junior, most probably you want to move to a senior position, or if you're a senior, you want to move to a lead position. So just think, what are those skills that would make you successful? And then just, of course, starting to read, to learn, practice what you learn, but also maybe taking more complex assignments every time in order to grow that specific skill. And then I think that last but not least is to just get feedback from the people that you are working with. You can just ask them, so what do you think that I should do in order to improve, and what could make me a better product manager or improve like my relationship with you? And then just trying to work on that feedback, and also making them aware that you are working on that feedback and that you are trying to improve, because usually just people, everybody's busy with their own things. So it's just important to let them know, hey, I'm progressing on that. So that would be my tips.
That's great. Thank you very much. I agree with everything that you just mentioned. Lior, what are your tips?
So I agree with Raluca. It's the first thing that you need to do is basically define your career roadmap and your action plan to achieve it. And I think one of the main things that you need to do, a part of it, is to identify the gaps you have in order to achieve it, and then create a plan of how I mitigate the gaps and how I close them. And I found it really helpful that I did it also with my mentee as part of the mentorship, like a self-assessment while using the situational leadership by plan chart. and which you basically identify the stages you are in. You basically say, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I do. This is what I want, where I want to be, and what's my position in a scale of. It's a whole theory when we don't have much time, but basically you analyze yourself, and once you do that, it's really easy to learn where I need to put my focus on. So again, it's basically, and we're product managers, it's all about the data. And again, this is exactly this. So this is one thing. The other thing, and I've spoken about it on the first question, is join the community. Joining the product management community helps you a lot. You learn a lot, you network a lot. It's a jumping board to be, to go to the front stage and learn, and also to share your experience and get exposure. And last but not least, it's to be willing to try and fail and embrace the failure. It's all about, I said, it's my motto. I learn everything all the time from everyone, from everything, and just understand what's the lesson and then implement it, and that's the way to progress your career, in my opinion.
That's fantastic, and you actually set the right tone for the answer and the reply of Svitlana, because I think you have something to add on that.
Yeah, exactly, because I think this advice to set a plan, define what are the actual skills you need to work, is like an essential work where of course you need to start. And then my tip or advice would be, when you have this plan, make sure that your day-to-day work, you always have like a stretch project, stretch initiative at any point of time. And stretch initiative, it's just anything that allows you to develop one of the skills that you choose for yourself to a next level. And it shouldn't be like a next level, it can be a small one. And the stretch project doesn't need to be, it can be a completely new one or like additional one. For example, you're just doing your job, and then there is a quarter planning. And you were saying, okay, I'm just going to do a quick analysis of competitors, of like competitor products, to share some information with my peers. And this is like basically some additional skill. It's like a nice addition. It also can be just working on your day-to-day work, but then taking a bit of stretch with your skills. So for example, if usually you ask a data analyst to analyze your A/B test, maybe for the stretch project, you're going to do it yourself. And the third part of this advice is to make sure that you don't wait like from your manager to assign stretch projects for you, because I mean, if it happens, it's good, but you don't need to rely on this. But also make sure that everyone knows about this, because like for me, like for example, as a manager, the bad thing that can happen that my team member just comes to me every week or every month and says, oh, I did this, I improved that. Then when the time to performance review comes, it's all there. I don't need to like really think, okay, what we did, because it's all in front of me. So make sure that you also promote your achievements.
So many great tips. And you also referred to one of the articles that we shared in a past group mentoring session. So you can also find a link to that article in the comments provided for you guys by Svitlana. So thank you very much, all of you guys. That was an amazing collection of tips and tricks as to how to advance our career, which is the most important goal here. And we are going back to you, Raluca. There is a question from Karen. It's an important one. And she is asking, how do you know if a PM and the company's culture are a good match?
Oh yeah, that's a great question, right? And actually something like before I share like my ideas, very interesting is that you give 5 PMs the same problem, and you will definitely find 5 different solutions and ways to approach it. this is why in general it's very important just to, make sure or kind of try to assess whether you are right for the company. And I think that this matching needs to be assessed from the interview, but also it needs to happen both ways. So, for example, if you are a PM looking for a new opportunity, I think it's very important to just think, what is your working style and what do you appreciate at the company? What do you want to learn? How do you want to grow? What's the environment that actually makes you perform? Maybe you think of situations in the past where you actually grew, and what are in general your values, because in the end we're spending so many hours at work, we really need to enjoy it. And I think that it's good to, note them down, and then in the interview, just asking questions that would help you understand whether that company is matching your needs. Ask maybe the interviewer, how would they tackle a similar situation from the past ones? And I think that you have to understand whether this answer is kind of matching your values, and also if it brings excitement, because if you're like, okay, then most probably this level of excitement is going to go even down during the time. And then, of course, if you're a company like looking for new PMs to fill in the role, I think that what usually happens is the HR just writes a general job description. Maybe they find it on the internet. Then they look for people with similar industry backgrounds. Most probably you'll find a bunch of people having those keywords in their resume, but it's not necessarily that they're right for the team. So I think it's as an interviewer or as a recruiter, you just think, what core problems or solutions do I want my product manager to tackle? What's the level of complexity? What's the level of ambiguity that those problems or solutions would have? And also, like, what soft skills do I want my PM to have? And how is my team working right now? What are my values? And then just trying to write a job description that matches all that. And just asking situational questions in the interview and see, how would the candidate respond.
We will use the opportunity for a shout out for all recruiters and product managers that are hiring for the teams out there. Please stop copy pasting job descriptions from Google, Amazon, Facebook, and other companies, and feeling that this will suit your company. Know what is it you are looking for in terms of culture, as Raluca mentioned, in terms of the skills, in terms of the output and the KPIs, and the right person for the job, and then post it out. And I also love that you first mentioned the tips for the interviewee, right? Because we have to know what gets us excited. We're spending so much time in the office, either this is the real office or virtual office these days, and we should be excited about products that matter and products that we love building. So thank you very much for mentioning all of that. That was great. And of course, Lior, you have something to say and we want to hear it.
It's just a short thing. Again, I think when you go to an interview, remember that you have the power and the right to also ask questions in order not only to be asked questions. I saw a lot of times when I interviewed candidates that they didn't ask anything. It's like, okay, so you don't want to know anything. It's like, ask something. I don't know, something. So
show me that you care.
Yeah, show me the money. Exactly. So I really relate to what Raluca said.
That's perfect. Thank you very much, guys. And we want to say hello to some of the viewers. We have Farzan from Pakistan joining us. Hi, Farzan. And we have Paula saying ciao from Rome. Ciao to you too. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. And we already have some very interesting questions submitted in the chat. Thank you very much. Keep asking the questions because we will keep providing you with the answers. Thank you very much, guys. And Svitlana, the next question goes to you. It comes from Ernesto. And he's asking, Where has your career been most helped by tools or frameworks?
So I think like for me, it was definitely during the transitioning from individual contributor to a leader, and especially when I had to work on strategy. Because like usually when you're just product manager, you know Scrum, you know how to talk to developers, and then when you grow, you're apparently like exposed to all this like business people with MBAs, and you need to like you can be really smart, but you need to know their language, and like many frameworks for strategy, they help to communicate your smart thoughts but also in a smart way. So like one, the business model canvas by Alexander Osterwald was like really popular and actually really helpful. Definitely helped me. I mean, the 5 Porter forces always help. What else was there? Oh, actually, there were 2 frameworks for competitors analysis. One called value curves, the product value curves, and the second called the perceptual map. It like because like it really helped to get all the information and all the knowledge that they gain about competitors in the first 2 months and then over time, and put them into like really concise and really smart presentation. So that worked for me as well. And if we talk about something before moving to a leadership role, actually I remember when I joined my current company, and like one of the first things I did, I prepared the roadmap and I prioritized it with like the simple RISE prioritization, like impact, effort, and the rest. And my manager, he told me that later when he saw it, he's like, wow, it's so thorough, it's like so thought through, I'm not gonna even intervene, I can trust completely. I'm not sure like if the framework was the only reason that helped, but it definitely helps again to communicate that you really thinking through.
And communication is one of the biggest aspects of our job, right? We have to communicate, and we have to communicate well, and we have to communicate with so many types of people. And you mentioned business people, which I think this is maybe the biggest challenge for product managers, because some of us come with technology backgrounds, so we are okay with talking with developers. Some of us come from design backgrounds, so we are okay with talking with designers. And although some of us come from business background, it's very different than talking to a CEO. It's very different in talking to an investor, for example, right? If we're talking about product leadership roles. So I love the fact that you mentioned these tips, and thank you very much for that. And now there is a question from, I really hope I'm going to pronounce it the right way, Shijita. If not, please forgive me in advance. And they're asking, as a PM, what is the one thing we have to keep in mind every day to stay focused? And this question goes to you, Lior.
So I think the first one thing is drink your coffee. But after
and
you
have
drink
a lot of it.
Yeah, and especially now with COVID and working from home. But seriously, I think the one thing is the value. Whatever you need, whatever you do, in any aspect that you do, you need to understand what's the value and the why. It's Simon Sinek speaks a lot about it, and it's actually whenever you understand the why, it helps you to maintain the focus and to understand, okay, this is now I'm deriving from the focus. I'm not going to taking or to understand what path not to take and focus you back on the and then it actually relates to everything we talked about up to now. When you know that you want to aim for the next role and grow to a leadership role or to the senior role. So this is the why, and now you need to understand what I need to do, and everything you do is to get you towards that position. So I hope I answered the question.
I think you did it fantastically. I just wonder, because this is a great topic, if Raluca and Svitlana, you have anything to add? You don't have to, just making sure. Ladies?
I think so. Like, I think that is very important, especially in this time that we are right now. Most of us were working from home. Just over communicate, and this is very, very important. And you cannot imagine how many situations you can solve just by over communicating your thoughts. And I think that this is something that us as PMs we always have to do, and to keep remembering that, and making sure that people are understanding. If somebody is not understanding, then most probably it's not their fault, it's your fault, because you didn't communicate it right.
So true. It's not only about us conveying our thoughts, it's about us making sure that the other person involved within the conversation actually understand what was the goal of it and what would want to say. Amazing. Love this one. I love this one. This is gold. Thank you very much. And we're staying with you, Raluca, because Andre has a question to you, and he's asking, with so much work on managing the product, how can PMs facilitate team growing? So team growth, how do you do it when you have so much to do to begin with?
Yeah, this is actually a very big challenge, right? I think that, like, especially for a PM, there are different levels of the team that you work with. So, for example, if we're thinking about the team of engineers, of designers, and so on, how can you facilitate growth there? I think that the most important is to just run very frequent retrospectives and just thinking how can you improve what worked well, and then of course working on those. If you're thinking about the team of your PM peers, because most probably you are in an environment of different other peers, I think it's very important just to make time to exchange knowledge, to challenge your ideas. So for example, what we have in our team, we have like a dedicated sparring session where we just debate different topics. Either it's like a theory topic or organization, or just a feature or an initiative that somebody is doing and everybody's giving feedback. I think that it's really, really valuable to have that conversation. And then of course, if you're a product lead and you want to grow your team, it's very important just to set up, as we said previously, to set up the objectives for your team members, and to create an action plan, and also to check upon them very frequently, just to see if both you as a product lead and also like the persons in your team are actually on the right path.
Because it's not just about setting them, it's also about tracking them.
Exactly.
Loving it. Thank you very much, Raluca. We have a question that comes from Avi. It goes to you, Svitlana, and he's asking, what should I focus on if I want to move up to a leader product manager role?
Oh, that's a good question. That's my favorite one. Basically, I think like there's like two parts of this question. Is like what skills to develop, and then what to actually focus on. And
I'm going to stop you for 1 second. I'm sorry. There is a reason why I'm doing that. We also have this question in other variations in the chat submitted by the audience live. So let's focus now on leadership roles and not on the senior or director, but more towards product management and roles like that, because later on we're going to answer it for other levels and titles as well. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So basically, for like if we start with the actual skills for moving from just individual contributor to a leadership to a manager role, the skills to do this change is almost exclusively soft skills. It's communication and persuasion that is going to allow the whole team to follow you and everyone follow you. It's skills related to negotiation and finding the common ground to manage stakeholders and to manage competing interests. or like general interpersonal skills to build like trustworthy relationship with your colleagues, with your stakeholders, with your manager. So basically, there's all types of soft skills. And I think like for my career, the best decision, maybe a bit too late, was to get the external help with the skills from a coach, or like some kind of that type of role, because when it comes to soft skills, they quite often touch some our emotions or like our beliefs. Like we cannot agree with someone because they annoy us because of something, or we cannot speak up because we're afraid and we were raised with the idea that we should stay low. And our minds, they usually create like crazy excuses to not work on changing this belief, or changing this kind of things that make us emotional. So actually, external person like a coach in this case just helps to hold a mirror to show you in a nice way, okay, if it hurts, you need to go there. So that would be my like advice in terms of like soft skills and what helped me, for example, to work on them. And then in terms of what I need to actually do to grow into the leadership role, if I need to give like one, because of course there's like many things, but if I need to do one advice, I would really suggest to understand the goals of your organization, your department, and your manager. Because especially if you want to grow inside the organization, the only way to grow there is to achieve the goals of organization, achieve the goals of your manager, the person who is gonna promote you. And quite often product managers, the fresh product managers, they sometimes come and they see some problem. For example, I know the UX is quite untidy, and they take initiatives. They say, okay, let's take a project to clean the interface. But maybe at this point, the company needs something completely different. Maybe they're going for investment, they need to deliver a lot of features, and like the tidy interface is not their best priority. So the manager would say no, and then everyone is frustrated. The enthusiastic product manager is frustrated because his initiative or her initiative was not taken into account. The manager is frustrated because there's not much help from that product manager. But the actual problem is just that the manager, product manager, not the senior, but the junior, doesn't understand the goals of the company. So if you understand like the goals of your manager, and if you help to solve problems and achieve goals of your manager, you're definitely gonna grow, because you're already taking part of his or her job. That's just a bit. And you're going to be taking his or her role, especially if the person also growing.
By the way, that goes back to being focused, and that goes back to have good communication skills, right, with people on their team and the leadership. So I love that how everything is getting tied together, and we create a holistic approach to how to become a better product manager. Not only a better product manager, but how to keep growing as product managers. Doesn't matter what stage we are at. This was awesome, but this was just the beginning, because these were the questions that were submitted by the audience prior to the event. And now we're going to answer questions that were submitted live right now at the chat, but you still have a chance to submit your questions. Guys in the audience, please, you still have time. You can still comment. We're going to start with answering the questions, but before we're going to do that, I want to remind everyone that we want you to show us some product love. So please make sure to like this video if you are watching us on Facebook. So follow our page if you watch us on YouTube. So please subscribe, and if you watch us over LinkedIn, please follow us there as well, so you'll be notified about all the crazy and meaningful events that we are planning just for you, so you'll become the best product manager you can be. We're starting with one question from Pamela, and she is asking, what do you need to step up to to become a senior product manager? So the reason why we're answering this question first is because, Svitlana, you just mentioned what should we do to step up the ladder in terms of the more senior roles, right? If we are up to being a VP or something like that. But guys, the question that goes to you from Pamela is, okay, I'm a product manager. I'm a successful product manager. How do I become a senior product manager? Who wants to start?
I can start.
Of course.
So I think that a very big difference between a junior product manager and a senior product manager is basically the level of ambiguity that the product manager can tackle. So I think that what you can do is, and I actually liked what Svitlana mentioned, just start to take more complex assignments. And in general, that can be either a topic where the solution should be more complex. So for example, it's more complex from a technical point of view, or it involves a larger amount of stakeholders. But also very important is maybe to start tackling some undefined customer problems that are, you don't know. You see like some numbers going up or down, and maybe management doesn't know, or you personally see that in the user research, and then you should like just start to investigate. And I think that this is a very big difference between a junior and a senior product manager. It's like just the level of complexity that you need to tackle.
So true. Thank you very much, Raluca. Svitlana and Lior, do you have anything to add on that?
Yes, I think that one of the main things is, like Svitlana said, that the junior product manager is eager, and it's like, oh, I have this feature, let's do it, let's close it, and let's move on to the next thing. I think the seniority comes when you understand, okay, this is the feature. Go back for a second and look at the holistic end-to-end experience. What we have a whole user flow, how it affects, what changes that I'm going to do, what are the impact that they might have on the system, on the users, on the business, and to be able to understand that every decision that you take has a business effect behind it. And in the end, you need to say, okay, and it's also connected to the value. So it might be, and it's also what Svitlana said, understanding that what stage are we in the company? Do we need now to create a lot of features, or no? Maybe so this is something that I really think it's part of your seniority and the capability to understand that.
I love everything that you mentioned. I will add something of my own. I think that what's different, one of the things that differentiate good product managers from less good product managers is how focused we are on the value. But what set product managers to become senior product managers is our ability to focus not only on the value, but also on the cost. All companies have constraints. All companies. I work with like Fortune 5 companies, and yet I had constraints. It may be not the budget, but it may be the time. It may be the availability of someone on the team. If you manage to see the constraint, accept it, and be creative around that, this is one of your best opportunities to show management that you are set to become a senior product manager at the company, because you show that you know how to work around constraint and bring the value that you need to bring as a product manager. So everything that you mentioned, guys, that's fantastic. I added this one of my own. And we're now moving to another question. It comes from Farzan, and he's asking, looking back, how would you set up 30, 60, 90-day goals as a product leader at a startup? So you're now leading a team of product managers or just your own at a startup. You have the first month, the first 2 months, and then the first 3 months. What is your own roadmap for success? Who wants to start? This is a challenging one. It's a tricky one.
This is a difficult one, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna start because I was the only one who didn't talk on the previous one, so I feel it's my turn. I think, I mean, that's is a really broad question because, of course, there's no ideal scenario, and every job, every role is gonna have a different actual goals. But I think if I join the team as a product leader, and my first 30 day goal would be to make sure I completely took over, if there was some previous person from woman taking over, or if there is no person, that I kind of established my ownership, both in terms of decisions that I make and people that I manage. So that's probably the first thing that I'm going to be able to achieve in the first 30 days. For 90 days, that's for sure ability to deliver a product strategy, or if strategy was already done before, at least some kind of clarity on the roadmap for the next year or 2 years. And I don't know what to say about 60 days, to be honest. Maybe guys,
that's okay. You nailed 2 out of 3. You nailed 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Thank you very much, Raluca. Lior.
I think you can sum it to learn, plan, and implement. So the 30 days is learning, the 60 days is to plan, and the 90 is to start implementing the plan and going forward with it. And it's too wide the question because it's really specific per company, per position. But that's as a guideline, that's the 3 pillars that I would look at.
Very interesting. Thank you very much, Raluca.
And I think that it's very important, especially if you're new to the company. So at the very beginning, to try to understand what are the problems that you should solve, right? So what is expected from you, from your peers, also for the product that you have to work on, and then I would suggest that in the first 90 days, whatever product it is, you should, in a way or another, deliver value and just show some value, even if it's just solving a problem that your colleagues or your manager wants to be solved, but just delivering value. Because sometimes it can be the case that you're joining a big organization and you cannot deliver the full product in 1, 2, 3 months, but just try to deliver some value that is also helping the ones around you.
Spot on, guys. I will add something of my own. First 30 days, make sure to establish great relationship with the CEO. 60 days, make sure to establish great relationship with other people in the domain, because although you are a startup, probably you don't work alone, and there is no reason for you to work alone, and you can work with and consult with other people in the domain that not necessarily work on the same problem as yours, but you can get some advice from them because what they are working on is somewhat related to what you are working on. And for the 90 days, and this is a tricky one, establish relationship with your investors, because you want to make sure that you are not just following the CEO agenda, but you get the whole perspective and the understanding of what are the real KPIs and goals for the company. Of course, what I'm saying is true for a startup, right? But all the other things and tips that you mentioned, guys, are correct and relevant for both startups and corporations. So thank you very much for that. Now, the last question, it comes from Nafar, and she is asking, what makes one product manager better than others, in your opinion? It's a little tricky one, but it's a very correct one. And before you're answering the question, Pamela wants to say thank you for your answers for her first question. And Farzan is saying that's a really good addition. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Welcome. Pleasure. But guys, this was a very good tip from all of you. So thank you. And we're going back to the question from Nafar, who is asking, what is the differentiation between one product manager to the product manager that you would like to add to your team? So guys, let's make it sharp, concise, and very valuable. Raluca, Lior, and Svitlana, what will differ good product manager from an awesome product manager?
I have so one idea comes to my mind. So most probably you you all know the Kano model, which is basically looking at satisfy the expectation of your customers, but then like the last level is to delight your customers and overcome their expectations. So basically you would need to understand either the customer expectation or your team expectations, and then if you want to be an awesome product manager, most probably you need to exceed them. That's the thing that comes to my mind. But happy to hear from the others because that was quite a tough one.
Tough one indeed. Svitlana, Lior, thank you very much for looking.
Yeah, for me, one thing that actually Raluca also brought up for the previous question, for me, ability to deliver is definitely on top of things, because there are big difference between like knowing all the frameworks and being able to do the interview and come up with a feature and do the specification and then actually have something working and actually bringing value. And ability to deliver for me is always like the highest and the main skill or like characteristic of a really good product manager. And then another one is positive attitude, because a product manager is in the middle of like in the crossover of so many teams, and usually it's quite a stressful job. So then if for any like new stressful situation, or like basically when shit hits the fan, someone has to stay positive and say, guys, how we're going to solve it. And that's positive attitude that is required. And the third one for me is the sense of ownership. In general, is like when the person is not just working on tasks that are assigned to her or to him, but also if something is wrong in a different area, this person would bring this situation or this topic to one-on-one, to the team meeting, to retrospective. But basically, people who care, that's the best product managers.
So true. Thank you very much, Lior.
So yeah, I think first of all, it's walk the walk. Someone who can walk the walk. Someone who is an owner takes ownership. That's two traits. And I think the other thing is to be able to say to know what not to do is really important, because when the shit hits the fan, as Svitlana said, to be able to find the mitigations and to find the alternative way, and which can and to be delivery oriented with value, and that's I think, and that's it, I think. Short.
Loving it. Thank you very much, guys. These were Raluca, Bujoreanu, Lior, Snider, Svitlana, Khimka. I'm Moria Cassis. This is Product League. Thank you so much for joining us, for asking the questions, for chatting with us. I had a fantastic time. Guys, how was it for you?
It was
amazing.
So great. Thank you.
Great.
Mission accomplished. Thank you very, very much. I had the greatest opportunity to learn from you, and I can't wait to have you all on our floor again sometime soon. So thank you very much, and bye-bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.